Hey guys, welcome to the first programming project. So this is the first installment of pretty hard problems, and they're usually after a certain amount of time that we have enough grasp on the material that we can actually do some harder questions. So let's just get started on this programming project. It's going to focus on switch statement. I'm going to have another one in a couple videos after that's going to focus on if statements. Alright, so let me just get started with this. So the point of this problem is we're going to write a program that displays the dates in this prompted form. So it's going to be dated this day. So it's going to be, say it's the 19th. It's going to be 19 with TH, day of the month, and the year. So here's an example program. So we're going to write this out. We're going to prompt this statement, and we're going to input a date in the form of MMDD year. And it's no problem. You don't need to have a 07, 19, 14. It'll just automatically put that. So we're going to scan in this number, and our program is going to automatically generate this little form right here. So it's gonna spit out dated this 19th day of this is already gonna be in this form of July. So whatever month we did, for example the 7th will be July. So it should prompt out July. If it's the 9th, it should be September. And that we're gonna do a comma and 2014. So we're only gonna focus on years after 2000s. So 2000 and above. So the printf will be focused on doing most of the formatting, but we are left with two problems. We have to add the th, the st, nd, or rd. By that, what I mean is like the 19th, or the 1st, or the 2nd, or the 23rd. Those type of endings. If this was 21. It would not be th, it'd be st. If this was the 23rd, it'd be rd. So we have to figure out how to get past that. We have to figure out a solution for this. And the second problem is we have to figure out how to print the month and as a word instead of a number. So you can't do a %d here and just print out 7. No, you need to print out the month that it correlates to. So I'll give you 3 different types of hints. So we're going to implement switch statements for each of these problems that we're facing. So each of these will have their own switch statements. So fall through in one of the switch statements will help save a lot of time. You can figure out which one that is. But fall through is very important. If you don't know what fall through is, or you just can't remember, just go into the previous video for the switch statements, and that'll help you a ton. And number 3, there will be multiple printfs. Use spaces correctly inside the quotations to format the output. What I mean by that is this right here is not one printf statement. This is not one printf statement. This is like 3, 4, or 5 printf statements together. So you have to correctly space them out to make sure it all comes out neatly. So please do this problem. The point of this video is for you to test your knowledge with a harder question that makes you think a lot. So please take the time, take the 20 minutes that you need to try to figure out this problem, and come back and we'll get started. Okay, so I'll get started on the problem. I actually have it over here, but I'm going to walk you guys through it myself. Okay, so we're going to do the directive, of course, the include studio.h. Then the main function. And now we're going to declare an integer variable for all the month, day, and year. So we're going to int month, day, and year. So that's what we're doing. We're declaring for all 3 variables that we're using. So now what we're going to do is we're going to print out the statement. So here, this is what we need. Okay, so this is the form that we care about. So we want the month, the day, and the year. So we're going to printf this right here. We're going to prompt this question to the user. So enter date, month, day, and year. Alright, and now we're going to scanf. If you guys don't remember how to do this, we did this in a few videos ago when I went more into detail in the scanf when we did scanf practice problems. So, the way you can separate these is by including that slash to go on to the next variable. So, it pretty much works like this. %d, so this one would map out to the month. Then once you enter that slash, it would go to the next integer, which would be the day, and same thing for the year. So it's going to be the month / the day / the year. And we have to correlate the variables to what we need. So the first one would map out to the month, second one would map out to the day, and the third one would map out to the year. So this allows us to appropriately match to each variable. Okay, and the next part is to printf dated this %d, and it's going to be day. So what we're doing right now is we're printing this right here. We're printing that. And remember, one of the problems that we had to do, we have to implement a switch statement to find this right here. So that's what's going to happen after this little declaration. So we're going to implement the switch statement. Oops, not switch statement. So what does this switch statement need to be fed into it? So we're focused on the number of the day here. So what we're going to feed into it is day. So this is something you have to figure out by yourself. Alright, so this is what I mean. So which ones are ST? Which days are ST? It'll be day, the value, the 1st, the 21st, or the 31st. So these days right here, the 1st, the 21st, and the 31st, will correspond to printing ST. So if a user says the day is the 31st, then it needs to print out 31st. It needs to print out ST. Or if it's the 1st, it needs to print out ST. Second one. ND. And what does those days correspond to? They correspond to the 2nd or the 22nd. So if this was the 2nd, it'd be 2ND, correct? Or what if it was the 22nd day? So it'd be 22ND. Alright, and the next one, same thing. It's going to be same thing with RD. And what would those days correspond to? It'd be the 3rd and the 23rd. And the 23rd. Alright, so if it was the 3rd, it'd print out this. If it was the 23rd, it'd print out this. And for the last one that we care about is TH. And this one's the easiest. TH is every other day. So think about it. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th. You know, TH pretty much corresponds to 25, 26 days of the month, while the other ones are very specific. They only have like 2 or 3 days. So th would be the rest of the days. So this is what we have to base our switch statement out of. So if the value of day is 1, it needs to print out st. If the value of day is, let's say, 22, it needs to print out nd, and so forth. So what we're going to do is we have to implement fall through in this switch statement. So we're going to start with st. So the st, it's for 31st, 21st, and 1. So we're going to put case 31, do nothing inside of it. We're implementing fall through. Case 21, same thing. I apologize. Same thing. And for case 1, this one's a little different because it's the last one. You can reverse it if you want. You can it can be first, 21st, 31st. It can be 21st, 31 first. It doesn't matter. It's the last one needs to have the printf statement. So it's going to be printf, and we're going to printf st. And we want to break out of this. Reason is, if these values are a day, let's say day's 31, there's no break statement, so it's gonna go down. There's no break statement, it's gonna go down until it reaches this printf statement and prints this out and then breaks out of the switch statement. Same thing for 21. It would reach here, there's nothing here, so it would keep going down and still printf st. And for case 1, it would print out st. That's why it's important to do fall through. If we didn't, printf st and break would need to be put on 21 and 31. And that's just more work than we have to do. Now we're going to move on to nd. What does nd depend on? It depends on if day is 2 or 22. So we're going to apply the same principle. It's going to be 22 and case 2. But this one only has 2. So it's printf nd. And then we're going to break out of it. Again, if day is 22, if you inputted 22 for the day, it'd come here. While it's going down, it's not going to match up to any of these cases. Then it finds the value of 22. Then it's here, it doesn't say anything, but keeps going down because there's no break statement. So once it reaches this printf, it's going to printf nd, reaches this break statement, and leaves this, the switch statement. Now we're going to apply the same thing to rd. So that would be for 23 and 3. Printf rd, same thing. If you put in 23 or 3, it's going to come here, going to go down to this rd, print that out, and then break out of the statement. So this is a great way to look how to use default. Default is the rest. Default is the rest of the values. So the rest of the values would be everything else. It would be anything else that's not declared. So if it was any of these numbers, it would find the values here. So if you're not putting a value that's not already declared, it's going to print out th. So this is a great way to show how to use default properly. So it'd be default printf th. And then let's format this a little bit better, and then break. So think about it. We did not need to put the rest of the numbers for th. Th is the rest of the days. Think about how much work it would be to printf th and break, printf th and break. It would be so much more work, and it'd probably take about 10 minutes just to do that. So this corresponds to this part right here. So now we have this. right? We have this right here. Now we're focused on this side. Let's just put this back to the 19th. So what we want to do now is we want to print this right here. We want to print this day of space, because this month right here, it changes. It changes with the number. So this right here is going to depend on a switch statement. So this is going to be its own printf statement. So it's going to be space day of space. Reason being is I didn't put any spaces in here. So if I put a space in here, I didn't need the space because there's already going to be a space printed out. And this is all going to be on the same line because there's no new line characters and no scanf statements when I'm printing this out. So it's not going to go to the next line. It's going to be all squished. So that's why I said printf is focused on doing most of the formatting. So you have to be careful to use spaces correctly inside the quotations to format the output. So just make sure you're keeping track of these spaces. So we're printing out day of. So now we have this right here. We have all of this. We're now focused on July, or just a month, the comma, and 2014, or 20, and the date we have. Alright, so for this one, we're going to implement another switch statement. And this switch statement is going to be focused on month, because that's what's after. So we're going to take the value of whatever the user inputted for the month and match it up to a case. So this one would take a little bit longer, so I'm just going to copy and paste this. It's all the same thing. Just going to copy and paste this and just talk about it. Okay, so if the number is 1, so it matches to case 1, it would print out January, comma, in space. If it was 2, if the user inputted 2, that would be February, obviously. And if it was 3, March, and so on. 4 for April. Remember, you have to include these breaks. So once it reaches this number right here, it would break out and leave the switch statement. So you do this for every single one. It's very repetitive, so there's no intuition needed here. So say if you inputted 12, it would find the value 12, and then print this out, print out December, and then break out of the statement. So there's no intuition needed there. It's a very easy switch statement, and that's all you need for it. So what do we have so far? We have the month, comma, and space, and everything before what we did. So this is what we have here, right here. And now the last printf statement is going to be focused on this right here. This right here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to hard code the value 20 into it. So it'd be 20, and now we're going to do the %d and the period. And we're just going to include the value of the year. Like I said, we're only doing years above 2000. And we're going to return 0. So what this is right here is we're just writing this 20 as just as a regular printf statement. This doesn't have any intuitive value. You can't play around with it. It's just like if you're writing letters. And then this %d, it's just going to focus on the value that you inputted. It's just going to be this number. There's nothing hard about what you see. It does look a little weird, but there's nothing hard whatsoever about this formatting right here. And this period is just a period at the end. Alright, and obviously this percent d is going to be year. So if you put 14, it's going to be 14 here with the 2 zeros. So it'd be 2014 in the period. All right, and so let's run this value real quick. So let's say it's asking us to enter date in the form of month, day, date, and year. So let's put the 9th of, so it's September 21st, 16. So it dated this 21st day of September 2016. And we can just change this to dated. So this one asks us July 19th, 14. So 7/19/14. So it says dated this 19th day of July 2014. So I hope you guys really tried this. It did look a little bit difficult. You had to be careful with formatting and making sure everything looked nice, and it wasn't the easiest programming project, but believe me, just by being able to work it out, or even if you didn't even figure it out, just trying it would help your creative muscles, your coding muscles, to learn repetition and think in different ways. When you first start a project like this, it might turn out way different than you first thought it would turn out. You just have to get this focusing and just being open to the different ways of coding. It is difficult at first, but trust me, with practice and hard work, it will get better. So thank you so much. In the next video, we are going to focus on if statements, and just keep watching, keep coding, keep practicing, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much.